Okay, great. We'll go ahead and get started. Hello and welcome. Thank you everyone for joining us today on this lovely Tuesday. For this session, thank you so much for joining. This session will be one that we believe will be a milestone in customer experience. We are so thrilled to be joined today by two speakers from Fortnum Mason, Sean Gauss and John Moss. Sean and John will be joining us for an interview in just a few minutes before we open things up for questions. Okay, for those of you who don't know, Fortnum Mason has a long heritage and history that goes back over 300 years. It is a luxury retailer that's almost a tourist destination in its own right, delivering an unparalleled kind of customer experience in store. For those of you who aren't familiar with Fortnum Mason, they have done an amazing job over the years, really mastering what it means to create memorable experiences that keep people coming back over and over and over again. In its 300 plus year history, this was my wow slide. Really, it served kings, queens, and everyone else as well. We are so thrilled to be here as we talk about the next generation and the next great era of customer experience. And to do that, I would like to introduce and welcome Georgina Nelson, our TruRating CEO and founder today.
Thanks so much, Leslie. I'm so thrilled to be here. It's a really exciting day for me personally and for the whole TruRating team, really, as we unveil what we believe is the future of customer experience. And ultimately, we came to that decision from talking to a lot of our customers, listening to consumers, and really addressing what seems to be broken in the whole customer experience industry today. And I cannot wait for Sean and John to talk through how Fortnum Mason has been embracing this new way and the game-changing results which they've seen. But first, I thought I'd briefly set the scene on what we have seen across the industry. So first of all, it probably is no surprise to everyone that customer experience spend on technology has been growing, because ultimately, if you know what your customers want and what makes them happy, they're going to spend more and come back to you time and time again. So in 2022, there's a whopping 641 billion spent, with businesses struggling to better understand their customers. But the disconnect is that only 7% of consumers are responding back, and that's across businesses. And we know in retail, the results are really closer to 1 to 2%. And what's more worrying is that when 200 CX leaders from across the top global businesses were interviewed by McKinsey, only 4% could point to an ROI of all this huge investment which they've been making to better understand their customer. So the second trend we've been noticing is that ultimately the way traditional CX programs have really worked is acting and reacting off those loudest customers. So whether that's a complaint from the angriest or your most loyal telling you once again how much they love you, it's this tiny percent of your customers which aren't representative, and acting and making business decisions of this tiny 1% is dangerous. It's just not trustworthy data. And really, it was this challenge: how can you understand what the majority of your customers are saying and thinking about you, and get data you can trust? And the third trend we really saw was ultimately, customer experience in some organizations is sort of a dark art. There's the customer experience professional and the data scientists, etc. And what we saw was those businesses who are super successful and truly customer-centric were opening up customer experience down to those who could really act on it on the front line, those in the stores specifically, or the restaurants, etc., and empowering them with that data and enabling them to make those changes and provide better customer experiences just yielded far better results for consumers and businesses alike. And yeah, on the right, you'll see some of those images. I met a store manager and he ran to the back and showed me his TruRating report, which he shared with his team, and LinkedIn shout outs to store teams who are doing particularly well. And yeah, empowering people with data is when you see the results. So we call this new world of being transparent with data, opening up to all levels of the organization, and ultimately caring what every single customer thinks and valuing their voices and acting on that feedback. Open CX. And here is the welcome to Open CX manifesto. But ultimately, it's around simplicity, it's around actionability, and it's around openness and sharing that data. And how do we do it? Really simply, again, we just ask one simple question on a touch point. So whether that's our patented integration on a payment terminal in store, or it could be online or any other touch point of that along that consumer journey. And our customers are working with us to publicize those scores and let consumers also know how they're being rated, and opening up CX for all. And how are we doing? We've heard from 700 million consumers are also voting with their fingers and their ratings and joining the open CX revolution. And so, you know, with response rates, which are often close to 80% in store and 50% online, we're getting that power of representation. And this slide here just quickly points to that, whether you're collecting in store, online, or any other touch point. It's the ability to analyze and act on that data, whether it's, you know, through dashboards, reporting suites, or data sharing. Ultimately, ways to make sure that those all around your organization can really get access to real-time customer feedback and make decisions off the back of it. And finally, as we said, prove and publicize. So with the ability to publish your scores with TruRating's Google linked API. And these are some of our pioneers of OpenCX. So these are just some examples, but just to show to you that this is across everyone from luxury to hospitality to auto to some of the best lighthouse brands really leading on that customer experience. And I couldn't be happier to have them with us on the march, and to also welcome one of my utmost favorite, Fortnum and Mason. And for any of you who haven't had the privilege of being in one of those stores, I literally get I get goosebumps as I cross the threshold of Piccadilly as the door is opened and I go into this ultimate world of luxury and sensory experience, and they are absolute leaders in customer service. And I couldn't be happier to have Sean with his 30 years of retail and customer experience behind him, and John, who is there leading the operations and customer experience side at Fortnum Mason, with me today to chat a bit more about their experiences and share their wisdom. So thank you so much, guys.
Our pleasure.
Thanks, Georgie.
To join you, Georgina.
So first of all, I guess, you know, opening it up as a wide remit. Tell us a bit about how you approach customer experience at Fortnum Mason.
Do you want me to take that one, John, or do you want to take that
Go
one?
on, Sean, yeah, you go for that one.
Sure. I guess you mentioned a very kind intro around Fortnum Masons, and I guess we have there's a warm, fuzzy feeling when you say what we do and where we work at Fortnum's, and there's always a memory attached to their first time at Fortnum's when I talk to customers. And it's usually someone like a parent or a friend or a family. They always love to tell me their first exposure to the brand. So with that comes a great responsibility of not only the current customers that walk through our doors, but also the heavy weight in many ways of the responsibility of what it meant to so many people that led them and their colleagues or their friends or their family back into the door. So we don't take that responsibility lightly whatsoever. And I guess the passion and I use that word passion very strongly, that comes from not just myself and our board and our CEO, but everybody that works in head office, but also my team on the shop floor. They do all understand the responsibility of what it means to take on the mantle of, for the time that we're here and responsible for our moment within the 300 plus years of the brand. It is we're caretakers of that legacy, but also building it for the future. So hopefully that answers how important we view service and the lens that we look at service as a brand and as a team across all of our stores, not just Piccadilly.
Yeah, I think when people talk about, you know, shopping not being a transaction but being a experience, and you know why people bought into the physical store versus, you know, clicking on Amazon, you know, what's your, you know, you guys being the leaders in the physical store experience, what's your view on all of that? And obviously making huge leaps and bounds across digital channels as well.
Yeah. For me, listen, as you mentioned, made me feel old there, Georgina.
sorry.
30 years in the business, you know, the debate about online and physical stores has been going on for a very long time. I think post-COVID, what we really saw was the importance of a psychological and social experience of what a store provides to the human element of what we all want to be connected to each other in some way or form. And for me, the store plays such an important role in coming in and experiencing the brand in its truest light through the people that are passionate about it. And websites serve a fantastic place to play, to interact, to storytell. You know, customers come into your stores far more informed, better informed, ready to understand and purchase. So I think it's a channel agnostic approach that we really want to take in Fortnum's, and I'm certainly seeing in many other brands. So it's not necessarily about bricks and mortar versus online. It's about that synergy and cycle of how we're communicating to the customer at all levels.
Yeah, that's definitely what we found in working with you guys. Too often the departments are completely separate and it's seen as two different journeys of the customer, but really being able to see that one view. And I guess, like, historically, what challenges have you guys had on understanding consumers across those channels?
John, do you want to take that?
So I think probably some of the challenges you touched on already, Georgina, around like how can you capture meaningful volume of responses from customers, like at point of purchase, which we know to be really key. The ability to like visualize that data and make it meaningful to people and be able to story tell with it. But I think some of the bigger ones are probably around being able to ask some sort of really insightful questions that help us, you know, change the course of what we're doing, be that around, you know, giving information to our managers and teams, or it might be giving it to our UX designers online, or it might be, you know, prompting further thoughts for more questions or being able to calculate an ROI. So I think that ability to start asking more meaningful questions, especially at point of sale in store, which has been traditionally quite difficult to do. And I think probably the other thing that's a struggle, I think, a bit with retail is it's so ever changing that actually some of the challenges are the ability to keep up with, like, if you want to make changes to questions you're asking at a point in time to reflect trading conditions or something that's just happened, it can be quite painful and arduous to like update processes and change, you know, questions around so you can quickly get, you know, gather sort of a meaningful amount of information.
If I could add to that, actually, you know, what we love about working with you guys is there's this element of, you know, custom questions that we can layer in. And when, you know, John and I are having a debate about what do we want to learn, what do we want to find out this week, this month, and track, you know, I jokingly say John's got 10% of real estate to kind of go in there and play and ask as many questions as he likes to our customers. And it's brilliant because we learn, you know, how many customers are moving up and down Piccadilly or where they're shopping or what's drawn them into it. So that element of what you guys provide within TruRating is super powerful. We're only at the beginning of what we can unlock with that data.
And I think that probably the final thing I say is that what you were saying about the ability to sort of, and Sean was mentioning as well about linking the kind of online experience with the in-store experience. that's just as important for us to think about how we can create some sort of consistency through our reporting. I think that historically is quite difficult to do, to have a level of consistency where you've got one single way of rating and experience across lots of different channels. That's and that, without having that, it means it's quite difficult to communicate, I think, the story either upwards or out to other people.
Yeah, I think being able to look at one particular channel, like I know you guys do concierge, for example, customer service, and being able to see like, okay, people are saying a certain thing. Let's test the legitimacy of this. Let's validate it with a wider customer base. And you guys leading the charge for 300 years. It's because you're always keeping on top of what consumers, that evolving landscape, and what they want. And so knowing that you are so active with our questionability does not surprise me in the slightest. Yeah, that's really exciting. And I guess like ultimately maybe you guys can talk through some of the changes which you've made with hearing from all of your customers, or other things which you might have planned.
I guess, John, do you want to take that one? Then I can lead on the operation.
Yeah, okay, by all means, yeah.
So
I think probably, like, since working with you guys, one of probably the biggest things is being able to be the way in which we engage our teams and think about how we're going to like make changes off the back of the insight that we get. If I take our kind of online experience as an example, historically we were, I would say, really trying hard to find customer insights out, like what was making it, what made a journey difficult, why weren't people shopping with us, how could we improve things. It was very, very difficult to pull all of that stuff together in a meaningful way. It involved a lot, often like customer interviews or qual chain, or qual surveys or other quant data, whereas now I think one of the big changes we've been able to do is to work together with our continuous improvement teams and UX teams, try and understand a bit about, number one, what our customers telling us, where are we seeing things like maybe drop off in conversion rate or like average order value, be able to target some questions towards those specific things. And then we've got a benchmark for kind of what's happening. We understand where customers are going. And then when we are able to understand and make the changes, we can then go ahead and continue using the same questions and understand how they've improved or where they've improved and by how much. And doing it in that way by, kind of understand the context, get the benchmarks, and then make the changes and then measure the improvements. That's given us much more confidence in how we can move forward with, developing our web experience. And I know Sean would have probably similar examples in the way that his managers might use the tool in store as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely, John. I think for me and the management team across all my stores, the heat mapping by hour, by score is super powerful, because what that has allowed our teams, we have and I hate the word mystery shop because it conjures up notations of the 80s for me, but we have a guest experience visit that works around our training program, around our steps of service, which we still keep going, and we work really closely with our team. But where working with TruRating really adds value is the volume of data that comes through at the tills and the way that our customers are voting. And what we're seeing is the opportunities around pinch points where, red, amber, green, it's really easy for managers to really understand that in a meaningful way. There's a bit of healthy competition, as we like to publish the results usually on a Wednesday and a Friday to see how they're all tracking against each other. No one wants to be at the bottom of the league. But more than that, it's a coaching tool, because where you can see the opportunities of an amber score at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, well, was that a poorly matched lunch break? Was there sickness? Was there something that happened, on the tills which slowed down the data? Anything like that, we really allow our teams to empower them to go away and find out what happened surgically and fix it, as opposed to a machine gun approach to, well, it's everyone's in the red or everyone's in the amber. What we like to do is to catch our teams doing things right, really highlight and profile that, and then celebrate it and coach where we need to coach, like with any leadership team. So the data that comes through is super, super powerful. A league table to any manager is always a red rag, right? We're always kind of looking to see how we're stacking up in the table, and my managers love it in a good way. And what we're trying to encourage across the teams is sharing best practice, sharing examples of tips and tricks, because no one can ever do it on their own. And as a culture within the team, whether it's online or whether it's physical retail or whether it's our concierge team, we always like to share and discuss things that work well for us from a customer point of view, things that didn't work so well, and how can we all magpie from each other. Because for me, the biggest learn coming out of post-COVID is that everybody learned from each other, regardless of industries. And you showed at the opening of the slide that the vaster range of brands that you work with, including hotels and restaurants, but we're all in the service business, right? We're all in the business of making sure that our guests and our teams, are given all the tools we can give them to be the very best that they can be. And that's where I love where the data helps take us in the direction. But of course, like with any data, for me, you kind of use your gut experience and feedback from your teams to balance the decisions that you make. It can't all be one thing. But I love the way that working with your team, the insights really, really help us as well.
Yeah, it's phenomenal the way you guys have adopted the data, and we can see the changes which you make on it on a frequent basis, and that's what true customer-centric businesses are all about. So it's a founder's dream come true.
It's the fun part of retail, isn't it? Retail, the one thing is you try something, it doesn't work, you tweak it, you can tweak it with the engine, and I think I love that about what we do in retail. We can tweak the engine, we can hear the data, we can listen to our customers, listen to our team. There's so many points that we can take to make it better, because ultimately nobody wants to go say, well, let's make our customer experience 30% worse than last year, right? We're all on this growth trajectory together. We all want to be better than we were yesterday, last month, last year, and I think that's the fun part of what we can do as retailers.
Let's shine a light on your net promoter score at Fortnum Mason.
Go for it.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I think one of the biggest probably changes for us has been the speed at which we've been able to improve our customer experience score. If you look online, we've seen consecutive months of improvement since we've been able to implement TruRating, and it is because we've been able to be more targeted with the questions, and there is more engagement in how to use customer experience information. So I do really think it's been a massive benefit for us.
Yay! And I think you're at 90%, aren't you? Oh, for your
91, George. You got
91.
91. Yeah, 91.
Yes, and gentlemen, that's phenomenal. So thank you so much. I'm aware that we opened it up for people to ask questions, so I don't want to hog you guys for the whole time. So Faye and Leslie, are you guys gonna run with some questions? Thank you.
Yes, great. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sean and John, for sharing that. You guys are really leading the way. Super exciting. We do have some questions from the audience, and so thanks to all who shared some questions. The first is, our brand is not as luxury as Fortnum & Mason. Do you all still think we need to think about customer experience in the same way?
Absolutely. For me, just because we work in luxury retail doesn't mean that the experience in I don't know what size store, what operation you have, but people buy from people, and broadly, people don't want to get bad service. Whether you go to your local petrol or gas station, you want to get a good experience of whatever that looks like. But you want to walk into your local shop, you want to get a good experience, otherwise you're not coming back. So I think customer experience is important in every single walk of life, because it's how we interact with each other that then deems return business. So if you want business to continue to come back to you, then whether it's your UX online or whether it is your people in making them better in terms of how they engage with your customers, is so important. Fortnum & Masons, we started 317 years ago, from one man that lived within an apartment that is now the building that sold, or had the permission from Queen Anne to take her candles and resell the melted candles and resell them and do the royal warrant from that. So we are started from being a small business, but it all built on reputation.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. Fully agree with that. And and all the data, as I showed on that slide of some of our other OpenCX TruRating customers, from, you know, discount, budget through to gas, convenience, etc. Hands down, we just see customers will come back if they get a better level of customer experience, spend more, and come back more frequently. And that's the foundations of any successful business. So
Great. Great, thanks. Another question from the audience. How do Fortnum and Mason make their customer centricity known or felt by people coming in the store?
So I have a policy of I can't stand snooty service. I want people, if I came to your house, you'd make me feel welcome. Yeah. You'd make me feel at home. And, you know, sometimes, you know, big buildings that are very ornate and have real prestige behind it in a store, it can be quite an intimidating building to enter sometimes. Am I worthy? Do I need to dress up? You know, do I have to wear the right clothing to come in? You know, all are welcome. You know, yes, we sell some fantastic, beautiful product, but we're not elitist in any way. You know, we actually, the Piccadilly building was built to have a residential feel. So when you come into Fortnum's, you all know the red carpet, or you would have seen the red carpet. It's there to make you feel at home. It softens and slows the pace down of the journey. And, you know, if you came to my house, I'd make you feel welcome. And ultimately, that is the same value that we place in our team members to say, hey, hi, how can I help? And I think within luxury retail, or, you know, sometimes there's this, it feels sometimes, I think, to some luxury brands, it's a club. Can I be welcome into this brand, or can I understand wines? You know, and for me, the role of a physical store, but also what we do at Fortnum's, is to educate and empower people to learn on the journey. Somebody started their journey on fine wine at some point. Somebody started their journey on luxury watches at some point. And somebody took the moment to say, hey, come and let me teach you about this. And I think that's where we love to just talk about what we love doing. We talk about making joy. It's one of our key values to our customers and our team. So I guess to answer the question, it's just make people feel welcome, be on point, greet them, listen. I think listening is a key trait within sales teams or service teams. You've got to actually listen to the customers. And the final point I'll make is this: none of our customers need to be sold to. What we need to do is to be part of and understand their lifestyle, because you could buy anything online these days. So why would you come to Fortnum's? It's about the experience. And that's what we really try to embed. And because we have food and drink at the very heart of what we do, there's no better way of trying and tasting the brand by trying a little sample. For me, it's very dangerous, because as I walk through my own teams, they keep trying to feed me stuff, so I've got to watch my calories. But there's nothing like making someone feel welcome in your home. So that's probably the best way I can answer that question, and I hope it answers your question.
carpet, food and drink. What's more to having a homecoming feeling? So guys, it's been absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much for your time, and for joining us here today. And looking forward to the next chapter with Fortnum Mason. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.